Welcome back my fellow Spartans to the Triple S Variety channel. I'm your host Triple S, and in this video I'll be breaking down the February 2024 SFX Magazine article by Jack Shepard for the second season of the Halo TV show. Now let's begin. Point number 1, Pablo Schreiber, the actor who plays Master Chief, reveals that he did not agree with having the relationship between John and Makee be a sexual one. The decision to make the connection between Makee and John a romantic connection was a huge mistake. I felt it was a huge mistake at the time, and I argued against it and fought against it. But I am who I am. I don't write the scripts, I only give my opinion. It wasn't listened to. So yeah, even Pablo is in agreement with all of us that having Chief and Makee bump uglies was a mistake. Later in the article he goes on to say, that connection was far more interesting as a deeply fraternal sister/brother. They're the same, and it could have been much more interesting without sex. There is some good, high-quality narrative risk-taking in the second season, and there's narrative risk-taking that doesn't make any sense. That's my opinion on that one, but again, we're weaving the web that we're weaving. David had to deal with those decisions that were made in the first season, and I think he deals with them pretty well. I like the nature of where the John/Makee story goes. It's certainly not romantic anymore. So, along with the reveal of Charlie Murphy and her character's return for Season 2 in the 13th Silver Debrief Season 2 reveal, released on the Halo Waypoint website on the 2nd of December 2023, that I spoke about in my breakdown of the first look trailer for Season 2, Pablo here also confirms her return, and that she is now no longer on friendly terms with Master Chief. I guess getting shot by Chief's other potential love interest Kai will do that to you. And this also gives weight to the theory that the woman narrating over the opening of the official trailer could in fact be Makee. Point number 2, Pablo is still sticking to his belief that Master Chief taking off his helmet is necessary for the show. People who don't feel the helmet was necessary to come off, they're at such an early conception of what the show could be. In order to examine the discrepancy between these two versions of the character, you can't tell that story without taking the helmet off. If you don't agree with the helmet coming off in the show, you don't like our show, so there's no point discussing it. I've made it no secret that I don't mind if Master Chief in the show takes his helmet off, and I agree with Pablo that it is in fact necessary for him to do so. People need to realise this isn't the game version of Master Chief. This is a Master Chief who was lied to his entire life, had his emotions and memories suppressed, and is trying to come to terms with all of that. Him suited up in Spartan armor is the controllable machine the UNSC intended him to be, the Master Chief, and him armorless, helmetless, is the human that they tried to erase, John, and trying to find the balance between these two is what we are seeing take place in this show. It's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or a Bruce Banner and Hulk situation. Point number 3, the article reveals that the second season starts with Cortana being removed from Master Chief, and Pablo explains that was a decision that David made in wanting to reset the relationship with Cortana. He wanted to start with having them apart so he could bring them back together. We spent the entire first season trying to build the character development, and then at the end pulled the rug out and said, no, we're resetting back to zero. And that dynamic makes it really hard to make television that progresses. The whole point of the series was to get into the mindset of this split character, this guy who lives as Master Chief, but also has this dawning realization of John who is underneath. At the end of Season 1, Cortana seemingly took over Master Chief's dead body, but in the first look and reading Master Chief trailers, we've seen her once again separate from him. So obviously Cortana is no longer in control of John's body, but could her and Chief being separated also refer to her being completely removed from his body and possibly placed onto a data chip just like in the Blue timeline. Point number 4, the article goes on to say that those working on the show know the backlash and criticism the first season received, and while Pablo says, I don't spend a lot of energy worrying about that stuff because it's completely beyond my control. Kiki Wolfkill, what an awesome name, who is one of the executive producers of Halo and is also head of property expansion at Microsoft, feels differently. What's always a challenge is how do you separate some of the emotional noise from the critiques and constructive feedback that's important to take? It can be really demoralizing. It's hard when you've watched thousands of people put so much into a project and have it so easily dismissed. But things that were controversial in Season 1, it was not a surprise that they were controversial, and it was a very easy decision not to do some things again. Some things that became memes. So what is she referring to from Season 1 that became a meme, you might be asking? Well, none other than the nickname Master Cheeks that arose from Pablo's nude scene in Episode 3. No joke, the people making this show know of and acknowledge the existence of the Master Cheeks meme. It was always a desire to give the people who know the Halo universe something different, and that inherently meant taking risks. There are things like Master Cheeks where I will say, admittedly, it was a blind spot for me how strong the reaction would be. At the end of the day, taking a risk like that again is more about, do we need it to support the story? At the end of the day, does Master Cheeks need to happen again to support the story? Probably not. That's not the kind of risk that's worth taking. So unfortunately for all those hoping to see more of Pablo with his dong to the wind, it probably won't be happening again in Season 2. That's not to say there won't be any nudity, Kiki didn't say that, but at the very least we most likely won't get a return of Master Cheeks. Point number 5, an interesting reveal is that the story will begin 6 months after Season 1 with Silver Team protecting a planet from being glassed, with Pablo explaining, "We start at a place where everybody is quite disenchanted. The whole team is questioning him, nobody's happy. This season, other characters get their moments to shine, specifically the other Spartans, Riz and Kai and Vanek. You really start to get to know them. Season 2, fleshing out the other members of Silver Team, has been made quite evident in the heavy emphasis on showing them in the trailers that we've seen so far, especially in regards to Riz. With the mention of Season 2 starting off with Silver Team trying to protect a planet from being glassed, I feel this is where we get the green fog scenes from that we've seen in the trailers, with Chief taking on many energy sword wielding elites. We also see Talia in a green fog scene, and I think it is her under Master Chief as he shields her from what might be a Covenant glassing beam, and the ceremony shots we have also seen her in where she is sporting a wounded face then take place after her and Silver Team have escaped that planet being glassed. I also think this green fog shot from the first look trailer is a shot of an Arbiter that the article states will appear in the first episode and will for some reason spare Master Chief's life, with Kiki saying, "He is an Arbiter," Arbiter being a title. I probably just told you more than I was supposed to. It's possible you saw Arbiter armor. Point number 6, not only has it been shown that Akison has been making what appears to be Spartan 3s and has involved Kai in some fashion in the We Need Master Chief trailer, this article tells us that since Halsey went into hiding at the end of Season 1, Akison has actually taken over her role of being in command of the entire Spartan program, rather than just being in command of his own Spartan 3 program like in the Blue timeline. Point number 7, for my last point, I just want to read out the final words from Pablo in the article, which I think really shows his commitment to Halo as a franchise and to making the show the best that he can make it. The depth and mystery of the Halo lore is so incredible. It is this vast resource that you could go on with forever. It could expand itself into so many different spin-offs. I love doing it. It's a Herculean challenge, but it's one that I really am proud to be a part of. As long as people are interested in doing it, I'm here and happy to do it. It feels like a worthy challenge and I love a big challenge. I will play this world for as long as anybody was interested in having me. Side note, it's weird to say this article was written by Jack Shepard because I actually have a relative called Jack Shepard who definitely did not write this article. Myself and my relative have no relation to this Jack Shepard that I know of, but I will include a link to his website in the description, along with a link to the website Magazines Direct, where I bought the issue of SFX Magazine this article is from. I didn't include everything from the article in my breakdown, so I encourage you all to read it for yourselves. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Triple S Variety channel. Why not leave a comment below pointing out anything I missed but you noticed? I would love to hear from you all. I've been Triple S, you've all been amazing, and I shall see you all in the next video.